Assalamu alaikum, sir. I am a student of pre-9th class in Thal Public School. Could you please explain the difference between a mixture and a compound?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Zain. Your question is quite straightforward. You want to understand the difference between a mixture and a compound. So let me deal with the mixture first, and let me give you some examples of the mixture so that you can understand it better. Salad is a mixture. Similarly, air, lemonade, and if you dissolve sugar or salt in water, that's also a mixture, or sand in water, that's also a mixture. And if you put different types of biscuits in one plate, that is also a mixture. Now, what is a mixture? A mixture is when you combine two or more substances without chemical reaction. They mix just physically. No chemical reaction takes place when a mixture is formed. So, this is point number one. Point number two is that when a mixture is formed, no new substance is found with different properties. So this is point number two. For mixture, the point number three is that the ingredients of the mixture are the parts or components of the mixture, the substances which you have mixed, they keep their identities, they keep their properties intact even in the mixture. So this is point number three. Now, point number four is you can separate these substances or ingredients or parts in a very easy physical method. From salad, if you don't like tomatoes, you can pick out the tomatoes. And you can use your hand to pick out the tomato, or you can use tweezers, or even you can use magnets. If iron fillings are mixed with sulfur and that's a mixture and you want to separate it, so you can use the magnet. It will separate the iron from sulfur. And similarly, you can also use other things like sieve. If you have mixed sugar with ground salt, you put it in the sieve, what will remain in the sieve is sugar grains, and salt will just be poured down. So you can separate the components of the mixture in a very easy physical way. No chemical change is required. Then is the amounts of the ingredients in a mixture can vary. Like you can have more of one thing than the other one. Like if you want to make a mixture of sugar and water, you can add either, in a jug, 3 spoonfuls of sugar, 4 spoonfuls of sugar. So that is your sweet will. So there is no fixed ratio of the components of a mixture. It can be any. That depends upon your taste. Then is these mixtures can be heterogeneous or homogeneous. A homogeneous mixture is when the parts of the mixture, when the substances, they are evenly distributed throughout. I mean, if you have a sugar solution, it will taste same from the bottom, from the middle, and from the top. So the sugar has been mixed evenly throughout in the water. So the mixing has been done at the molecular level. So this is homogeneous mixture. But salad, you have added lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, maybe onions, or maybe green chilies, or radish or carrot. So that is a heterogeneous mixture. You can feel those things, you can see those things very clearly. You can touch those things. But in sugar solution, you cannot see the sugar and water separately. Here in salad, you can see them separately. So salad is a heterogeneous mixture and sugar solution is a homogeneous mixture. So mixture can be both homogeneous or heterogeneous. And the next point is that when you mix the things, mix the substances to make a mixture, no energy is released or absorbed because no chemical reaction is involved. Only physical action is involved. You physically mix these things. So this was about mixture. Now let us understand what is a compound. And let me again first give you the examples of some compounds. Water, H2O is a compound. Carbon dioxide, CO2 is compound. Sodium chloride, NaCl is a compound. Iron oxide, rust is a compound. Iron sulfide is a compound. So these are all compounds. These are examples of compound. Now, what is a compound? A compound is when two or more elements, pure substances, join together through a chemical reaction. Again, the important thing here is in compound that pure substances, elements, you have 118 elements in your periodic table. Only those elements, some of those will combine chemically to form a compound. And chemical reaction will take place between two or more elements to form a compound. This is first difference. In mixture, any two substances like sugar and salt, you can mix them. They don't have to be pure elements. But in compounds, you have to combine elements, pure substances, through chemical reaction. So this is the first difference. The second difference is that when you combine two or more elements, the new substance which is formed, a new thing is formed with different properties. And in mixture, what did we learn about this? In mixture, no new substance is formed with different properties. But here, compound is a substance with different properties. I mean, the properties of its components, its ingredients were different. Now, when it has become compound, its properties are different. For example, water is a compound. Now, it has been formed by the chemical combination of hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. Now, properties of oxygen gas and hydrogen gas are altogether different from water. So, water at room temperature is liquid, whereas hydrogen and oxygen at room temperature are gases. So, they have different properties. The compound is a substance which have altogether different properties. Now, the components of the compound are ingredients or parts of the compound, or the elements with which that compound has been made. They do not retain their independent properties in the compound. Whereas in mixture, it was not the case. In mixture, the substances which were mixed, they kept their independent properties even in the mixture. But here, this is not the case. And then in mixture, we were able to separate the ingredients, the substances from the mixture with simple physical methods. And those methods I told you, you can use hand, you can use tweezers, you can use magnet, you can use sieve, or you can evaporate. Through evaporation, you can separate the components and are boiling, or filtration. So it was easy in case of mixture to separate the components. But in case of compound, it is not easy to separate the compound into its individual ingredients through physical methods. Not possible. Yes, it is a difficult process. It is a chemical process through which you can break the compound into its component parts. For example, by just boiling the water, you cannot separate hydrogen and oxygen. You will have to pass an electric current through water, which is called electrolysis. Only then chemical reaction will take place and hydrogen and oxygen will be separated. So separation of the components in compound is not easy. It is only through chemical reaction. Then, in case of mixture, we learned that the amounts of the substances can vary. When you mix the substances, like in salad, you can add more tomatoes, less cucumbers, and even smaller amount of onions. So it does not make difference, depends upon your taste. But in compound, you can't do this. There is a fixed ratio by mass. For example, water. Water is H2O. To have a molecule of water, to have a compound of water, you must have 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. And by mass, 2, what will be the atomic mass of H2? 2. And O, 16. So 2:16. That ratio must be maintained to get a compound, to get water. And then the most important thing, when a compound is made, energy is either released or absorbed. But this was not the case in the case of mixture. In mixture, no energy was released or absorbed. But when a compound is made through chemical reaction, energy is either absorbed or released. So these are 6 to 7 differences between a mixture and a compound. So I hope you have understood the definitions of mixture and compound and difference between the two. And if still you have any confusion, you can come back. I'll explain it further. Thank you very much, and Allah Hafiz.